We have been looking at various country economies, and we are going to take a look at what's happening in the United States. We know that at the federal level, they have run up a debt of $38 trillion. How are the states performing? Well, out of the 50 states, 49 are mandated to have a balanced budget. In other words, the states cannot spend beyond their income. Well, the COVID put a number on all these things. A lot of things went out of whack, and now we are looking at least 30 states in the 50 that have started running huge deficits. And we're going to take a look at how states usually work themselves out of these holes, and also we're going to take a look at using a separate monologue on how the top 4 economies inside the United States are doing and what does that imply for you, the resident of those states, and just gives you a heads up on what's coming down the pipeline. So a request to all of you to please like this video, and if you have not already subscribed to our channel, do subscribe to our channel. Here we go. Who was Parashurama, who led a life of devotion, dedication and daring? Why did he take birth on the earth? Was it to eradicate corrupt Kshatriya rulers who had become tyrannical and oppressive, or was it to bestow daya for the needy? Navigating the fiscal cliff. US state budget deficits. This is of last year's, because this year is still in progress. How are states confronting with revenue shortfalls, and also how are they going to try and balance their books? This has happened in the past. It's not the first time, but the scale with which the after COVID effect has hit, that is the one that is very concerning. The primary tactic that states use is to tap into emergency reserves. What they do is, on the years when there is bountiful, they put it away for a rainy day fund, and that is something that they don't touch, so that during the years when there are deficits, they'll take the rainy funds and make whole the budget holes and continue on. So this is the first line of defense to cover unexpected shortfalls for the various states. Second one is, well, you have some rainy day fund, but that doesn't cover all of it. Then what do? You take some tough choices. For example, you reduce some programs, you reduce some services, and this makes for an unsatisfactory experience for people. And I'll give you some examples of how things are in California, because in my opinion, California is the worst affected state in all these things post-COVID. Plus, it's also dealing with an over 8 to 10 million illegals living within its borders. That's another huge problem. Let's take a look at what happened. Well, you can impact critical areas like education, healthcare, infrastructure maintenance, and so on and so forth. And this could be leading to unhealthy conditions. Also, you can reduce services. For example, reduce the hours of operation of many things. That will end up having longer wait times or increased user fees for residents. This is what happens. I mean, right now, all the utilities are charging us way more than what the national utility rates are for water, electricity, and then also driving a car is considered a luxury in California. If you look at the insurance premiums that you have to pay for in order to drive the car. Without an insurance, you cannot drive a car in California. It's against the law. And California has a lot of quixotic laws. But let's just take a look at overall what is happening in terms of program and service reductions. California was rather magnanimous in giving Medicaid protection, free Medicaid protection, I might add, to even illegals. The illegals who are residing in California are guaranteed to get free protection from health problems. Can you believe that? And you cannot ask anyone the legality of their status in California. That's illegal. In other words, if somebody starts making some demands and you as a shop owner starts asking, okay, so what is your legality? You want to work here? Tell me what's your status. You can't do that. You're supposed to just give them work permit. I mean, I'm just stretching this, of course, but you get the idea. So some very questionable decisions have been taken and passed as laws in California. These things are now coming to bite it in the butt. And I'll be, again, like I said, in a separate monologue, I'll be talking about the states, how they are dealing with all these problems. Then public burden, you can raise the taxes, raise the fees. Like, for example, if you want to go to a national park, raise the fee from $4 entrance to $10, right? or parking there, you increase it from $10 to $25, something like that. These things are all happening. Property taxes are going up, and some have the school districts where you live, sometimes they have special levies. This is at the school district level. You could also have at a county level, alcohol, tobacco, and things like that. So all these things are being done to try and balance the budget, but they are not looking at taking care of not supporting some of the programs that they should not be supporting. Again, we'll talk about that on a state by state basis. Let's now move on to the other things. Sometimes what you can do is you can do some things like short-term fixes, which is you can do some accounting shifts and delays. You can have various accounting strategies such as delaying payments to customers that have done provided services for you, also shifting some of the expenses to future fiscal years or reclassifying funds. While these tactics can temporarily balance the budget, you are still kicking the can down the road, and that's going to come back to you and bite you in the butt. Also, there are things that states try to do, which is future obligations by issuing state bonds. For example, if you are going to construct a new express highway from place A to place B, where there has been a lot of traffic difficulties, and you say if you want to use the new highway, you have to pay toll. This is very common in India, and people don't mind paying the toll because the convenience is there. And the same thing could be done in the United States also. They have these tollways now. It is very popular in many states in the United States. So that's one way to do it. But there is always something dangling in the sense that these are bonds, which means no matter what happens to the actual product, you are in the dock to pay the interest payments for the people who have bought your bonds. So that becomes an additional overhead on your expenses. So better think out properly and make sure that infrastructure projects for which you are issuing bonds do not fail. Overall, the fiscal outlook of the United States, as far as the states is concerned, this could have lasting consequences for residents. Persistent deficits may lead to reduced quality of public services, higher costs for education and healthcare, deferred infrastructure maintenance, and increased tax burdens. The ability of states to navigate this period will largely determine the long-term economic well-being and quality of life for their communities. Now, let me tell you what happens in California. Because, see, I lived here for a long time. Things were much better when I was in Colorado, but that was 30-35 years ago. So I can't say that things are that good now. But lifestyle was much better. Smaller communities, tighter communities, people knew each other, people helped out each other. In California, it's a big jungle. It's a concrete jungle. Nobody knows what's happening to your neighbor. And this nuclear family concept has really taken root here. What happens is, supposing there is a burglary in your house, usually the police will come and ask you what are the things you're missing, and they'll say, okay, write it up and we will sign it for you so that you can claim insurance on that. What about catching the thief? Oh, those days are gone a long time ago. Even if you have somebody burgling, like for example, comes into your house and takes your garden implements and things of that nature, if you have video evidence, including the number plate of the thief, nobody seems to act. This is not because they don't want to act. Please don't get me wrong. The police has more pressing matters on hand. For example, nasty accidents, murders, gunfights, drug-related fights, arson, shooting, all these things are happening. So the police has tended to not even report some of these crimes, like for example theft or something of that nature, and just say that, look, have insurance, go and claim insurance, we will give you a letter saying that you lost all these things. So there's also insurance fraud that comes from that, but that's not something that we want to look at. Let's take the genuine case that this is how things are being handled. So United States quality of life is going down. Every year it goes down a little bit more. Roads are getting longer, road patches are getting longer, things like infrastructure like light signals sometimes go bad, power downs are also happening, power shutdowns, and all these things come back to one thing, that there is not enough money to make sure the system is running robustly. And the fact that you have a huge illegal population, and this government in California, which is solidly blue, is backing all this without any proper finances to match it. This is just California, but you go to every state, each one has its own unique set of problems, and we'll be looking at that in a separate episode. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Namaskar.